And welcome back to the Financially Simple Experience. Today I want to do something I've not done on the show before, and it was kind of sparked in my own mind because of what transpired in Q4 of last year. You see, as you may remember, last year we had several clients who were in the process of selling their companies, and many did sell their companies. But I noticed something. We business owners often don't consider the lens at which the buyer is viewing our business. And whenever we think about the buyer's perspective, it's often from the tune of, well, my goodness, your company is broken. Well, I want to dive into that a little bit more. I want to look at the business sales process through the buyer's eyes, through the eyes of the buyer. And we're going to break this up into a couple of parts here. The reason why I want to approach this is because we business owners don't realize the complexity of a sale. We see our business as a simple, everyday event that we're running because, candidly, we own the business. We know the processes. We created the processes. Perhaps everything in the company has a little bit of your touch or your feel on the company processes. And so for you, the company which you are operating seems ordinary. It seems normal, like just another day in the office, we might say. But on the buyer's perspective, trying to look in, not fully understanding the history or the processes of the company, it can seem a little bit complex. They, the buyer, may place greater value in an area of the business than we ever have, and they may undervalue a particular point of the business that we overvalue. So the process itself often is misunderstood. The buyers may spend months or maybe even years researching, trying to understand how your business operates before they make a particular purchase decision. So here's some questions for us. What do the buyers see when they look at our business? What can we do to make our business as attractive as possible to prospective buyers? See, understanding how we see our business compared to how a potential buyer sees our business can help us prepare our business for a seamless or an efficient transfer or exit. So I want to break this down over the next few episodes to deal with this idea of the business sale through the buyer's eyes. So one of the first things they're going to look at is, who is the owner? Who's the owner? Who are you? And you may say, well, it's all out there. It's on my website. It's on my social media. I mean, I've got a national presence. They should know who I am. Well, more than likely, they're going to get a good sense that you're successful from your business, and they may get a good sense of who you are based on the values of the company or how the company operates, but they want to dive a little deeper. They want to look at, what is your age and what's your motivation? What are you going to do once you sell the business? Are you going into retirement? Are you going to stay on as a consultant? Are you going to become an employee of the acquiring business? Are you perhaps going to go in competition against them? Are you going to position yourself to where you can go back and buy the business pennies on the dollar? We've all heard of those stories. So the buyers of the business is trying to figure out what is motivating you to sell your business. Now, as we age, oftentimes that's a given. As we age, we want to slow down a little bit. We don't want to fight the fight anymore. We don't want to go and fight the bear, as the old saying goes. Maybe it's health. I have a client that's going through a transition right now because of health concerns. We never expected it, but nonetheless it happens. Maybe it's because of a death. I know an individual that I helped in business that recently passed away, that we're dealing with some business transition issues because of a death. Maybe it's because of fatigue or lack of capital. Whatever it is, the buyer wants to know what is motivating you. Here's what we can do, though, is we can have a plan. We can have an after transition plan or an after exit plan that can place the buyer's mind at ease, that the business owner can truly commit to the sale. When I say truly commit, I've seen this happen many times, that during the transaction, the seller will get wet or cold feet, and they're trying to almost self-deprivate the transaction because the business, as we've often communicated, is our identity. It's who we are. It's us. So one of the things that we can do whenever we are trying to communicate who we are, our age, our motivation of us, the business owner, is we can put in writing the plans that we have and how the exit is going to help us achieve those plans. Another thing that the buyers will look at as it relates to us, the owners, is our attitudes. Are we as enthusiastic today about our business as we were when we first started it? Do we have that new entrepreneurial feel to how we attack the particular problems in front of us? Are we standoffish? Are we tired? Think about this. You're trying to sell your business to somebody who you hope, or who they hope, is going to pick up the mantle and run further than you've been taking it. If you are weathered, if you're exhausted, if you can barely make things meet, if you're running around like a frazzled person, frazzled Frank, then why would a buyer want to buy your business, much less pay you top dollar? See, whether you realize it or not, everything you say or do as you approach an LOI or during the LOI phase, letter of intent phase, is going to be critically assessed by the buyers. They're going to be assessing and measuring your willingness to sell, your readiness to sell. They're going to be looking, is there a consensus? Is there a consensus amongst you, the perhaps owner, and your significant other or spouse? Is there a consensus amongst the team? What about this a partnership? Are there mixed signals being given? Whenever they meet your family, before you hopefully enter into an agreement, the buyer is going to be looking at why you're doing this, but more importantly, how your family feels about it. They're going to ask questions like, hey, what do you think Justin's going to do after he sells his business one day? And if my wife were to say, well, probably go into another business, that's probably not be as good as what we would like it to be. So one of the things we have to prepare for is our attitude, the way in which we approach the exit of our company, preparing not only ourselves, but our team and our significant others for this particular transaction. And finally, the buyers are going to be looking at your expectations. Your expectations. Are they realistic? Friends, I got to tell you, there's one thing that will devastate the value of a company more than anything else, and that is over-optimism of your business. See, we entrepreneurs often see the glass not even half full, overflowing, when candidly there's probably a thimbleful of liquid in the glass. That's the way we are, and that's what makes us successful. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it. I love the passion that we share. Man, I want to reignite that passion. But oftentimes, we're quick to overpromise and underdeliver. Our passion for what we do quickly clouds our expectations. Some advice to you is do your homework. Many times buyers have examined the recent sales with comparable businesses. If you are uninformed or asking for unrealistic prices or contingencies or negotiating points, then you perhaps will run away your buyers. You got to know your minimum though. If you truly know the intrinsic value of your company is too low to accept, then take some time to work on growing the company. Grow the value before you ever go to market. And this is a huge mistake. I could almost pull the semi truck over and park right here and have a whole camp meeting right here, friends. So many times we business owners, because we're rattled, because we're scatterbrained, because we're fatigued, whatever the reason is, we approach this idea of getting our business as unplanned as possible. And oftentimes those who don't plan for a timely exit and have all the ducks in a row and allow circumstances or greed or whatever else take control, then the transition is doomed many times not to succeed. So you've got to know your minimum, and you've got to know what you're willing to negotiate on, the deal structures of within your industry. So a buyer's coming to you and they're looking at these particular positions. Who are you? What's your attitude? Why are you doing this? Do you know what you're talking about? We've got to nail that down long before and test it before we ever go to market. So whenever we look at this through the buyer's eyes, not only are they looking at you and me, the business owners, but they're also looking at sales, marketing, management, people, operations, finance, legal. They're looking at all those things. But one thing is the linchpin, it's the cornerstone, it's the foundation. It is the launch pad. Whatever term you want to use here, one thing matters. How decentralized are you, the business owner, from your business? See, the buyers want to know, are you still pulling all of the strings? Or do you truly have systems and processes in place which can be built upon, improved, strategically modified to drive additional value, enterprise value, growth, revenue, margin, as somebody with new capital or new energy brings into that particular space? Buyers want to maintain the same level of efficiency and service throughout the transition and beyond. So having a strong management team with a proven track record is vital. Vital. Friends, I go into businesses all the time. I'm dealing with a business right now that's producing almost $30 million a year in revenue, sizable business. And I asked for an organizational chart. Crickets, nothing. It didn't exist. In fact, I got to candidly say that in the last 5 or 6 businesses that I've detailed, examined, there hasn't been an organizational chart. And if there has, it's been inaccurate. So how can a buyer determine, if you're at the center of the business, if the organizational chart is not even being kept up to date with the changes or modifications amongst the structures of the team? That's something easy to deal with. So decentralization deals with management. How deep is your management team? Many reports indicate that optimal span and control is between 5 to 9 direct delegates. So the way I describe this is, if I'm looking at the organizational chart, you, maybe the CEO or the company or the general manager of the business, whatever term you use in your business, you can only successfully manage about 5. Some people say as high as 9. I like to say in small business, it's about 5 direct reports, direct employees who are subrogated to you. And each one of them can only truly manage successfully about 5 direct reports. Buyers want to know that you've got processes in place. They want to see that the management team is in charge of the day-to-day operations, and they have a proven track record of success, and they aren't spread too thin. So if you're looking now at your particular business and you're saying, holy cow, I am still at the centrality of my business, then now's the time to start working on improving your business. Let's update the organizational chart. Let's start there. Let's get detailed job descriptions. Let's put performance evaluations in place for your organization. Those are things that are simple to do, but oftentimes the simple things are what kills us the most. Another thing the buyer wants to see is that you, the business owner, are not the chief bottle washer, chief salesperson. They want to make sure that you do have your hand throughout the company, that you can explain things, sometimes detailed, sometimes not. But buyers often know that the reason why there's a successful business in place is because the owner or majority shareholder is perhaps the largest rainmaker or relationship manager. If you're looking through the eyes of the buyer, and perhaps you have an organization that has management that helps you run the company, but yet you've moved yourself into the relationship linchpin or the chief salesperson of the company, which is so easy for us to do as entrepreneurs. If you become the face of the company, then all the buyer will see is, I have an attrition issue. What happens when that owner leaves? How many of those customers are going to stay? Who is going to replace that individual? Do they have the same charisma? Do they have the same outcome? All these things apply to decentralization. In businesses with non-traditional client sales rep relationships, the buyers are going to focus more on the organization as marketed. They're going to look at Who are you targeting? Who's your direct demographic? Is it easily tracked? How does your target market align with the company values? Does a buyer see trustworthiness amongst the brand? They're going to look through these things through decentralization. So as we remove ourselves from the center or the optimal or the chief salesperson of the company, we want to replace it with systems, processes, value alignment, demographic alignment, growth-minded alignment of the overall company. Friends, the buyers want to get a deal done. They do. They have cash or availabilities to cash to take over business, especially as we're looking at this particular market cycle. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of buyers who want to invest in good businesses right now. But they're going to look at you. They're going to look at you for your attitude, your ambition, the way you communicate. And they're going to look at you to see if you decentralize yourself from the company. Friends, if you don't know how to do this, or maybe you do, but you need somebody to motivate you, to hold you accountable, to help push you like a good fit coach would, or like a good soccer coach or a football coach would. Perhaps that's you. Hey, reach out to us. Reach out to us. We can help you. You can go to financiallysimple.com, ask questions there, and a member of our team can reach out to you and they can help you with your particular business. So I'm excited to continue this journey as we look at how does a buyer look at your business. Stay tuned for our next episode. Until next time, friends, I realize life is hard. It is, but life is good, and we are greatly blessed and highly favored. Y'all go out and make it a great day.